Good morning, students. Today we'll start with the poem number 3, Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Now, keep your books open and pay attention. Keeping quiet. I'm making a model reading. The poet is Pablo Neruda. Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. Neruda has been conferred with Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. What does the title of the poem suggest to you? What does this title of the poem suggest to you? What do you think the poem is about? Keeping quiet. Is it not suggesting keeping silence, maintaining silence, keeping oneself at peace? See the picture on the top of the poem. There is a picture. Can you tell me what is that picture all about? A small pic. Open the book or open the PDF, e-book or e-document and see on the top and answer my question voluntarily. Unmute and answer my question. What is on the top of the text? Can you see a small pic? Speak up, say yes or no. Unmute yourself and speak up. Speak. Yes, Fabia. What is that pic about? The pic is, if you can see, children on the earth holding hands, or people, if you don't count them as children, people holding hands, right? People holding hands, okay? So, now we'll count to 12. Now we'll count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop, for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars with gas, wars with fire, victory without survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. The poet says, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once would do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead, later proves to be alive. This latter proves to be alive. Now I'll count to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So this is the model reading that I did for you to make you look into the poem, peep through the poem and feel the poem. That is, now we will count to 12 and he asked us, Pablo Neruda is saying he'll count to 12 through the poem. I will count to 12. The number 12 has a special significance in the poem. Question that can be framed on this. Before I move to the explanation, I am framing a question. Why the poet has used the term 12 or the number 12? 12 has a special significance in our lives, 12 months of a year. When you see your clock or a wristwatch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So it has a 12 zodiac signs. 12 number has a special significance in various things and in human life. and moreover related to time. When it comes to time, we move within these numbers from 1 to 12, right? So now we'll count to 12 and we all will keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak any language. For once on this earth, let us not speak any language. Let's stop for 1 second. Let's stop for 1 second. 1 second, let us be silent. Let us be quiet and not move our arms so much. Let us not move our arms so much. Arms has got two different meanings. We have been doing through these forms. Arms, our hands, our arms that we say, the literal meaning, right? What is that literal meaning? Our arms, armaments. So here hands. What exactly hands means? Arms, symbol of action with which we work. Our arms, right? Then armaments. We also call the armaments as arms. Armaments, weaponry, weapons and all are also arms. Okay, so the line is, let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. So literal meaning is, let's not do any action. Let's not move our arms. Let's not move our arms. There's a meaning, arms. So let's not do any action. And then the second, let's not use any armaments for destruction. So have you got the meaning of the word arms? Right? Let's not use any arms. That means let's not do any destruction. The weapons are symbol of protecting one's country, but at the same time destructing the other country, and we are afraid to use nuclear armaments and all, right? The gift of technology, science and all. So let's move. The question from the point of view of board exam and MCQ is, what do you mean by arms? 4 options are there, you will have to select, right? If the meaning of the word arms is given, you will select that way. Literal meaning is given. If it is given the figurative meaning, you will select that answer. So arms here has 2 meanings, right? Now it would be an exotic moment, exotic, enticing, exciting, very unusual moment. Which moment? When everyone will be quiet, because he is pleading, he is requesting, let's not speak any language, let's be quiet, let's not move our arms, let us not move our arms. The poet is requesting the readers, he is urging the readers, he is telling the readers, he wants the readers to be quiet, right? So it would be an exotic moment, very, very exciting moment. Which moment? When everything will be quiet, without rush, without engines, without machines. We would all be together. The justification of the small pic on the top of the poem that I asked you, dear children, answer what is there on the top. So the pic is signifying and the lines are signifying we would all be together in that quietude. When we'll be silent from inside, we'll think more fruitful. Right? And there would be a sudden strangeness. I hope the lines are before you and you're going with the lines. Otherwise, I will have to share the screen for the lines also. Okay. So, Nachiket and Shreyansh, Vijay. Shreyansh, open the cam. Your cam is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Beta, open the cam. Like I can't see you. Video on. Like Pavia, Shalini, and Mohammad Aris, I can see. Okay. Try if some problem is there, network issue is there, continue. But it's mandatory for all to keep the cams on. It becomes wonderful. Now the poet shifts from Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. In this exotic moment, what will take place? The things, the enticing, exciting things that will take place. Fishermen in the cold sea will not harm whales. No harm would be done to the sea animals. And the man gathering salt, look at his hurt hands. He would get time to care for himself and see his hurt hands while doing those things. He feels injured, he gets tired, and he will get some moments to take care of himself. Now the poet shifts in the poem, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire. So those all who are not at silence, not at peace, those who are the those who are the initiators, those who initiate wars, green wars, wars against environment, is the term green wars, right? Wars with fire, wars with fire, and wars with gas, wars with gas. So it can be all sorts of wars. Wars against environment, wars with fire, nuclear armaments, wars with gas. When we create a lot of pollution, we actually create or do a war. We wage a war against environment. So all types of environmental wars are being discussed. Symbolically, we may take them that destruct the peace, that hamper the peace of the earth are these wars. Not only taking armament in the hand and throwing missile on the other country, but these are also wars that we have been perpetually doing, and our actions are responsible for that, for pollution, for other things. So we can say combined green wars. What do you mean by the term green wars? Environmental wars, pollution. What war bring? Wars bring victory without survivors. There is a line in the poem that those who prepare green wars, wars with fire, victory with no survivors. If there will be a war between two countries, one is the victorious one, triumphant one, and one is the loser from the point of humanitarian angle or like that, from the perspective, both are losers. Both have lost their brave men. Both have lost their soldiers. Both have felt that damage of property and life. And even the victorious country has brought a lot of damage to its country. So wars bring nothing but victory without survivors. Sometimes there are no survivors to enjoy that victory. Those kings, their sons, all died in those wars. So those who prepare green wars with green gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors. They all would put on clean clothes. They all will wear clean clothes in that exotic moment, in the moment that I'm talking. In that particular moment of silence, they all will wear clean clothes and walk about with their brothers. They will hold their hands united for the welfare, for the betterment of the world. They'll hold their hands and walk together in the shade doing nothing. When he says, and they'll do nothing, but then he justifies, the poet justifies, Pablo Neruda says, do not truck, do not get confused when I say doing nothing to total inactivity. Board question of last year, right? What does he mean by I want no truck with, or I want no truck with death, or what I should not be confused with total inactivity? When he says doing nothing, he says don't associate this doing nothing. Don't associate this doing nothing with complete inactivity. Doing nothing. It is not complete inactivity. Further, he says, that don't become completely inactive. I don't want to truck, right? What is this trucking? Associating. Write down. What do you mean by the word truck? I want no truck with death. Let me explain you. These are the lines where you need to pay attention. Rest all moves in a flow. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Please do not confuse yourself. When I say doing nothing, it doesn't mean that stop all your positivity, stop all your positive works, stop all your fruitful work. No, please do not stop. Don't associate my nothingness with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. Life will never stop. It will keep on moving and moving. I want no association with death. I'm not saying that do nothing and bring deathly silence in your lives. Death is quite silent. So I don't want to indulge yourself. I don't want you to indulge yourself in that inactivity which is nothing but negativity. Right? If we were not so single-minded, but the pathos, but the pathetic part of our lives is we are very much single-minded. What is that single-minded notion of ours? We love rushing and running and troubling ourselves. We don't want quietude, tranquility. We don't want peace. We want to rush and rush and rush. So if he wants to say, if we had not been so single-minded, we would have been ported to some another world. That would be the world of silence, fruitfulness, fertility, right? New ideas popping up. Okay, so life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, what are we single-minded about? We keep our lives moving and moving. For once, could do nothing. Perhaps that moment must come when we do nothing. Perhaps, he uses the word perhaps. Perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. When we say the world is depressed, the world is moving into submissiveness and suppressed feelings. A lot of people suffering from depressions and mental disorders, they will not take place. Yesterday we did a poem on the being in the lap of nature. Today we are doing how to introspect oneself, how to know oneself. And it comes, the introspection part is this. In these lines, the poet conveys that introspect, do introspection. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, why you are moving and moving? Why you have kept your life along with others? Right? For once, we could do nothing. Perhaps then a huge silence will take place on the earth. And this huge silence is the blessed silence, the blessed, the moonlight silence, the blessing like silence. And don't associate it with the death and negativity and inactivity. Associate it with liveliness, this silence. The hidden meaning inside the poem is this, and then the poet says, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness, will kill this sadness, will intervene in this sadness that we are suffering from, loneliness, isolations, right? And never understanding ourselves, because we have never given time to ourselves to understand. We keep on understanding the whole world, where there is the time, the need of the hour to understand yourself first, right? So the poet advocates, do introspection, do understand yourself. Who are you? What are you? For what purpose you have been here? And the purpose is very, very simple. Love yourself, find yourself, search yourself, introspection, right? And you have never understood yourself. Or perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. All the time we have threatened ourselves with the coming death, with the approaching death. We are growing, we'll be dead one day. But what we have in present, we never look at it. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead. The poet says that earth is the beautiful example, beautiful teacher who can teach us. Personification. Figure of speech, poetic device, please write personification. I'll make you revise the poetic devices of all the poems. Previous poem I have made you do. So right now you write down, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead. So earth is personified as a teacher, that earth will become your teacher. Perhaps earth can teach you better as when on the surface of the earth everything seems dead. When you look at a field, towards a field, and you stand, and when the seed is inside, you don't see the activity of the seed. But after a few days, you find out your science experiments in your junior classes. After some time, you find a sapling coming out. The seed opens up into two parts, and a small, the open part you can see, a small leaf or the first two parts of the sapling you can see, and you feel happy. So earth teaches you this. What earth can teach? The question. When everything seems dead from the surface, when everything is dead on the surface, something very, very lively, very, very active, very, very fruitful, fertile, germinating is taking place, which is in the form of welfare, right? The latter proves to be alive. And later on also I can use it proves to be alive. The seed may be dormant for few days and everything is dead on the surface of the earth. But inside there is lot of activity, positivity germinating. And now I'll count up to 12. And again he comes to the concluding lines the same. I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Again advocating, coming to the point of silence, you keep quiet and cherish this silence in the form of springing up with, you can say, giving birth to so many fruitful things. Positivity and peace and silence inside. Right? So now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. These are the last two lines of Pablo Neruda's Keeping Quiet. Dear students, unmute yourself and ask your queries if you have any. In this particular unit, in this particular poem, if you have any problem, you can ask. Unmute and please do share. I give you 1 minute to go through the lines. Responses are awaited. Any query, anything that when I was speaking you couldn't understand? Yes. So no queries. Fine. Understood. Okay. Good. I'm ending my class, children. We'll have one more discussion on the question answers as well as the poetic devices, and we'll finish this poem. Right? Till then, you revise the poem at home. God bless you all. Thank you.